It's a beautiful Wednesday, July 23rd, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games, with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards, and the Oklahoma Sooners report 1 week from today for training camp.
Getting close. It's almost here.
July 30th, report day. July 31st, first practice of training camp for the boys. We are so close, Ted. Let's go.
We're close. So far, it seems like the offseason has been good. No devastating news, at least that I know of. So we finally made it to training camp. This is the next phase we got to make it through, right? But no, it's exciting. It does feel like, and maybe it's every year, but it does feel like we've had an extended talking season this year.
It does, and I thought it would feel shorter because of the Thunder's run in the playoffs and going and winning a championship, but it hasn't. It feels like we've been in the football oasis for a while.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So yeah, it'll be good once we have some more stuff to talk about.
Football. We got plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's start here. If Brent Venables was looking for some bulletin board material to use as motivation with this football team, he certainly got it when the preseason poll and the preseason all SEC teams were announced. Ted, let's start with the poll. The Oklahoma Sooners picked to finish 10th in the SEC. And I don't really know how to feel about it. I've thought a lot about it, and I don't really know how to feel about it. I like where they were picked from a standpoint of, okay, this group has to feel like not many people believe in them.
Yeah. Well, I can't say. I mean, I guess I was a little bit surprised, but after I saw it, it makes sense. You know, I think it's one of those things where, like when you're at SEC Media Days and you talk to people that were down there, a lot of people saying good things about Oklahoma. But I think it's one of those things where a lot of people feel like Oklahoma has a chance to do something, but not yet ready to put that into vote form. You know, there's a lot of kind of everyone slides into similar spots that they were last year, and maybe you're a little higher than you finished, maybe you're a little lower, but I could understand, you know, coming off of a 6-7 season. Yeah, there's been a lot of change. There's a lot of things that developments that you think are moving the program in the right direction, but people are just going to have to see it to believe it. I think if you asked the voters, you know, without voting, where they think Oklahoma would finish, I think they'd probably have them a little bit higher. I thought it was going to be around the 8 spot, but you know, whatever you could use for motivation, it's just another thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This won't be the final order that things finish in. So use it as some motivation. I like that.
Here's the SEC preseason media poll. Texas picked to win the league. So Texas at 1, Georgia at 2, Bama at 3, LSU at 4, South Carolina 5, Florida at 6, Ole Miss at 7, Texas A&M at 8, Tennessee at 9, the Oklahoma Sooners at 10, Auburn at 11, Missouri at 12, Vandy at 13, Arkansas at 14, Kentucky at 15, and the Mississippi State Bulldogs at 16. Do you think OU being picked 10th has a lot to do with them playing 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 12?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, they play 5 of the top 7 in the preseason poll. They play 6 of the top 9.
Yep. I think that has a lot to do with it. There's no doubt. And are those, I'm assuming those are first place votes that you have in parentheses, right?
In my beautiful list in the rundown, yes.
Which kudos to you for being so thorough. 11 teams with first place that got first place votes.
How about the 2 that Vandy got? There's 2 people out there that truly believe what Diego Pavia said at SEC Media Days. He's come back to win a national title, baby.
I mean, that is pretty wild that there's that many. And who knows, maybe it's, it's a media deal. Maybe it's the Kool-Aid vote for the team that you cover and know the best. I don't know, but I thought that was, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. Usually you have maybe 3 or 4 teams that get first place votes, and then there'll be like maybe a wild 1 or 2, but 11 teams got first place votes. That's pretty wild.
I think it has a lot to do with how much turnover there is on a lot of these rosters, man.
Yeah. And I would say like there's I don't, there's some teams like I definitely don't think Vanderbilt's going to win it. I don't think Auburn's going to win it, but I do think that there's 5, 6 teams that maybe if everything goes right, have a chance to at least compete to get into the championship game.
Yeah. And I think that's reflected in some of these first place votes. I mean, OU got 3 first place votes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if that's people that cover OU. Typically, the people that cover OU are the most critical of OU.
Right. Yeah.
Hello, that's us. But it is, and it's interesting. The league feels very open. I feel like in the recent past, it's been like, okay, Bama and Georgia, and then, okay, is someone else a factor? Your LSU, if they're up on one of those, the peaks and valleys of that program, if they're at a peak, they're right in the mix. You throw Texas and what Sarkisian's been able to build there in Austin, and yeah, I think it's a very interesting league now. It's a much more interesting league than it was 5 years ago from the standpoint of, hey, I don't really know who's going to win this thing. We'll find out, especially when you factor in all the new quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
And the uncertainty that creates. So it's, I don't know, man, it feels like it's going to be a really fun SEC season. Like that's how I'm feeling. Like I think it's going to be one of these where these teams beat each other up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a horse race. And I've seen a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, seen multiple people with the prediction that there's no 10-win team in the SEC, at least in the regular season. Like 9-3 may be the best anyone does. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, but just the fact that that's even a talking point is pretty interesting. Whenever it wasn't very long ago that you knew that Alabama, Georgia is just going to click off 10, 11, however many wins, no problem. And now that's all started to come into question.
Is there, when you look at the preseason poll, is there a team that really stands out to you where you go, hey, man, they are ranked too high? I'm just not a believer in them.
Yeah, and this may come off as controversial, and I have a very good chance of looking stupid. But to me, it's Georgia at 2. They got 44 first place votes, which, and I understand it. I'm not saying it's a dumb prediction. It's really not, but I think a lot of that is if you're not sure who's going to win it, like Georgia's just like the default pick at first place. Listening to Kirby, I don't know what to make of what they've got coming at quarterback. I mean, he looked solid at times last year, but I guess I just don't know enough, and maybe that's a me problem. They're they're going to be way younger. I think they've got a difficult schedule. I don't know. I think Georgia's getting the benefit of how good they've been over the past 6 years, 7 years. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I understand it. Well, you pick the teams that always just end up there, and Georgia recently has ended up there. But um, I right now, I don't think Georgia makes the SEC championship game.
I think that's fair. It seems like everyone around there really likes Gunnar Stockton and the way that he plays, but we're gonna have to see the young man do it week in and week out throughout the SEC schedule, and there's a lot of uncertainty there.
Yeah, I mean, I with Kirby Smart talking about how young and inexperienced they're going to be on the line of scrimmage, offensive line and defensive line. He talked a lot about like they had a ton of seniors, fifth, 6 year seniors, the COVID guys, all that experience they had a year ago. They're not going to have that anymore. They still have a really good roster, but they don't have the advantage on the roster that they had previously. You combine that with inexperience on the lines of scrimmage, a more difficult schedule than historically they've played. And to me, it lines up like this could be a little bit of a rebuilding year for Georgia. And yes, a rebuilding year at Georgia is different than a rebuilding year at most other places. And maybe they do find their way there, but I don't know. I feel like Kirby Smart's been dropping some breadcrumbs that he may not be super confident about how good Georgia is going to be this year. And I mean, with Stockton, he may be a good quarterback, but I don't know. Is Georgia good enough with the rest of do they have a big enough advantage with the rest of their roster to win the SEC with, I don't know, where would you rank Stockton right now as we look at the quarterbacks in the conference? There's some really good quarterbacks out there. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but just kind of how I see it.
I'm taking Florida. I'm just not a believer in the Gators, and it's really two main reasons. Number one, the schedule's very difficult.
Yes.
You look at their road games, LSU, Texas A&M, Kentucky, and Ole Miss. That's not easy, man.
No.
That's not easy at all. And their home games are Texas, Mississippi State, and Tennessee, and then they've got Georgia and Jacksonville. That's their SEC slate. It is tough. I mean, it's really tough.
Non-conference is tough too. I know that the non-conference doesn't factor in with where you're going to finish in the standings, but whenever you lose a game, it takes a toll on your football team. There's a mental toll that it takes.
For Florida, that Miami game, that's a massive game, and it's thrown into a very difficult part of the schedule. When you look at that stretch for them, they are at LSU, then at Miami. They've got a bye, but then they host Texas, and then they're at A&M.
Yeah.
That's a 5-week stretch in that Florida schedule. So the schedule is the number one reason that I may not be as high on Florida as some teams are, or some people are. And I know how they finished last year, and I'm a massive DJ Lagway fan. I think he's incredibly talented. But the second reason I'm not that high in the Gators is, man, that shoulder situation, I can't get it out of my head, Ted.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting Lagway to take a big jump between last year and this year. And just how big of a jump can you take when you weren't able to throw the football for the majority of the offseason? Now, he
Yeah.
still looks incredible, man. He looks incredible. And I am a big fan of what Billy Napier does. I love watching that run game. You may be shocked to know, big outside zone team.
Yeah.
Love it. Love everything they build off it. Like, I'm a fan of what they do offensively, but I don't know, man. I can't get over the shoulder thing. And then you find out it's been an issue for him for a long, long time. It's just, I I think a lot of people are expecting him to be arguably the best quarterback in all of college football this year, which he undoubtedly has that ceiling. But the shoulder thing is always in the back of my mind. And if that becomes an issue, like, what's that mean for Florida in their season? So
Yep.
I'm not as high on Florida as a lot of people are because of the schedule and because of the Lagway shoulder situation.
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if it took that long to heal up, we talked about he didn't have the surgery, and I mean, it can happen to any quarterback in any team that a guy goes down, but when you start to feel like maybe you're starting the year with some damaged goods to begin with, that's a long, grueling schedule. Will it hold up for the duration? I don't know.
Team you think is ranked too low?
See, this is hard because I think there's a big group of teams that you can really, in my mind, put in any order. Um, kind of that middle tier of teams, but LSU's at 4. I thought that they would maybe be a little bit higher. But you got Texas, Georgia, and Alabama in front of them. But I personally believe that LSU is, if things go the way I expect and maybe they expect, I think LSU has the highest ceiling in the conference. And I guess I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't maybe bump up into that number 2 spot, or I mean, 4 is still pretty high, and they received 21st place votes, which is a significant amount. So maybe they're not too low, but I think LSU is going to. Right now, that's my pick to win the SEC.
I think a lot of people think LSU can win the national title. So if you're voted fourth in your league, yeah, it feels a little low.
Yeah,
They certainly walked around SEC media days like they feel like they can win the national title.
yep,
And Nussmeier can sling that thing, man. But we'll see if they can get some of the defensive issues that have plagued them over the last couple of seasons figured out.
yep.
I think maybe some people still need to see that improvement on the
They got
defensive side of the
holes to
ball.
fill on the offensive line as well.
Rather large ones.
Yep. So
First tackle off the board, holes to fill.
yeah, it's not just it's not like just a check mark. It's an easy deal, but I don't know. I feel like if they get it figured out, that they can be the team that at their peak is the best.
Team I think is ranked too low. I'm strictly basing it on vibes alone. Give me Tennessee. I know they lost a lot, right? They lost Dylan Sampson. They lost 4 offensive linemen. They lost key receivers. And then you had the whole Nico situation. But I just trust Josh Heupel to have that offense playing competent football. And even though their defense lost James Pierce and Norman Lott, I like a lot of the returning pieces they've got on defense. I think they're going to be a really good football team again. And I think that whole Nico situation, you know how it is in a locker room, man. If you can find something that brings you all together,
Yep.
it can be a very valuable thing for a football team. And I can't imagine a situation that could bring a team much closer together than that whole thing that they went through. You know they want to make Josh Heupel look good for the decision that he made, for like standing up for the program and for them and that whole situation. I don't know. I think Tennessee is going to be a little better than ninth in the SEC.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. It's so hard. Like kind of talked about it earlier with mentioning that I've heard several people talk about they don't think there's going to be a 10-win team. Like you could have a jumbled mess really about 8 teams deep, like not a lot of separation between 7 or 8 teams. I think there's going to be a lot of beating up on one another. And, I honestly feel like pretty much 1 through 10 has the capability to beat any team within that ranking on a given Saturday, and that confuses things.
It makes it fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It should be a lot of fun. All right, let's talk about the preseason all SEC teams that released. But first, taking a road trip this summer? Remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway, and with the Love's app, you can save big all summer long. You can save 10 cents per gallon on gas and up to 25 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app this summer and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to fire up your cookouts than with Didier Ranch's steak burgers made from 100% premium cuts of steak. These burgers are the real deal. Juicy, flavorful, and packed with that rich, beefy taste that you love. Plus, they're shipped right to your door, so you can spend more time doing what you love and less time shopping. Head over to DidierRanch.com now and use code SOONER for a special discount on your first order. Get ready to taste the best burgers you've ever had. Proudly raised 100% in Oklahoma. Didier Ranch, steak in every bite.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Summer is flying by, but Simple Modern is here to make back-to-school shopping easy. From backpacks and lunchboxes to water bottles, Simple Modern offers durable, stylish gear kids love, all at parent-approved prices. And Oklahoma teachers, listen up. Starting July 14th, nominate yourself for Simple Modern Stock Your School to win water bottles for your classroom, have your entire classroom wish list fulfilled, and receive $1,000 for anything your school needs. Voting opens July 21st, and the top 10 teachers with the most votes win. And with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you're helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. The preseason all SEC, all SEC, all SEC, all SEC. That's not easy.
No,
The
it's not.
preseason all SEC teams were released, and very little love for the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's start on offense. 0 Sooners on the first team offense. Jaydn Ott, the only Sooner on the second team offense, and 0 Sooners on the third team offense. So for those of you keeping track, that is 1 Oklahoma Sooner on the preseason all SEC offensive teams. Oh, there's got to be more on defense, right? We had a good defense last year, right? Come on. 0 Sooners on the first team all SEC preseason team. R. Mason Thomas, the only Sooner on the second team defense, and 0 Sooners on the third team preseason all SEC team. So if you're keeping track at home, on 6 teams on offense and defense for the preseason all SEC teams, the Oklahoma Sooners have 2 players, Ted.
Yeah.
If people think your players aren't that good, that's how you get picked 10th in the league.
Right. Now, I think that we have a bunch of guys that have the chance to make it, first, second, or third team.
Before we get to that, shout out to Ben Anderson.
Yes.
Third team preseason all SEC long snapper. That a boy, Ben. Way to go.
Way to go.
He has done a fantastic job. And I
Yes,
do
he
think
has.
he's got a chance to have a long NFL career.
Yeah.
So I just Congrats to Ben. But yeah, so I guess technically it's three, but when you're looking at offense and defense, we've got two players.
Right. Yeah. No offense to the long snapper, but it's hard to just take that and run with it and feel like you're well represented. Um, I think there's a lot of guys offensively and defensively that I expect to factor into the list at the end of the year if things go the way you hope they go. I also think it says a lot about the league whenever you hear a lot of the kind of the quarterback gurus and the people that rank their top quarterbacks nationally, most all of them have SE or have Mateer in the top 5 in the country. Some people have him as high as 2. Some people say he's going to be the best quarterback in the country, and he doesn't crack the top 3 teams of the preseason All SEC. It tells you a lot about the depth there at the conference.
And it also tells you, because it's one of those where you can't get that mad either.
Yeah. No.
Because Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, and I guess if you're an OU fan and you want to say, hey, John Mateer has done more on a college football field than Arch Manning, that's fair. But you got to remember, football is a team sport. And Texas has been really good the last 2 seasons, and they were really good a year ago, and Arch is going to have a ton of talent around him. But yeah, there's just no doubt Mateer has accomplished more on a college football field than Arch Manning, but it wasn't against SEC competition.
Do you think Mateer will make first, second, or third team at the postseason list?
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
That means that we've had a good season.
I think
if he doesn't, in all seriousness, if he doesn't, it may be another sad year of podcasting for me and you, which I don't want to do, Ted. Don't make me do that. Come on, man.
No, we don't want that.
We don't want that. No one wants that.
I think Mateer's got a good chance to make the list. I think, whatever receiver you think, Giovanni Gibson, Deion Burks, Satania, I think we'll have a good chance to have at least a receiver on that list. And defensively, I could pick multiple guys. I think Robert Spears Jennings at safety has a good chance to make the list. A guy like Kendall Dolby, a guy like Kip Lewis, any of our interior defensive linemen, like maybe a guy like Grayson Holton, who I think I would pick him. Not necessarily saying he's the best, but I think that his production may be the best. So, right now, coming off of last year, it's hard to, like you said, be mad at any of it. But I think we got a lot of guys that have a good chance to show up by the end of the season.
When you were as bad as OU was on offense a year ago, it's kind of hard to get mad about only having Jaydn Ott on the preseason All SEC offensive teams.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to go out there and prove it. Like, I would love to be able to come on here and make an argument for an OU offensive lineman to be preseason All SEC. It's just hard to do. Now, maybe if Troy Everett would have put that picture out there earlier, the voters would have said, All SEC caliber guy right there, boys.
Yeah.
That could have changed some minds.
They may have created a new, you got preseason offensive player of the year. You got preseason. Maybe they've invented a new category.
If you haven't seen it and you don't know what we're talking about, then hey, that's on you. I would suggest maybe not looking at it at work. Just saying. But yeah, in all seriousness, like, they don't have an offensive lineman that you can make a significant argument for. They don't have a tight end you can make a significant argument for at all. I think Burks is probably the one guy that if he would have been third team preseason All SEC, I would have said, yeah, if he's healthy.
He was last year, right? What was he? Was he third team?
I think you're right, but it's you got to stay healthy, man.
Got to stay healthy. Got to prove it. But
New offense coordinator, new quarterback. Even though I think everyone agrees that the offense will be better this season, it's hard to be worse, but I think everyone agrees it will be better. It's hard to justify anyone really other than Mateer and Ott being on preseason All SEC. And I even thought I saw Ott and I was a little surprised. I'm not going to lie because
yeah,
he did not have a great season last year. He is on the second team, preseason team, because of what he did 2 years ago.
yep.
So it is what it is, man. I mean, that's kind of where we're at offensively. I think the guys on the defense probably have more of a gripe because you had a really solid defense a year ago and you only got one guy in R. Mason Thomas and he didn't even make first team.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the one thing about the SEC is there are so many across the board, a bunch of teams. There are so many really, really good individual players on, you can pretty much pluck almost any team out of the conference, and you've got elite NFL, like high round draft picks that are scattered through all the teams. So, for example, Cole Kublik, who we love, has Oklahoma has the best defensive line in the SEC, and he says it's by a landslide. Well, they don't have a single guy on the interior that's on the, first, second, or third team preseason All SEC. And that's because you can pluck individual really good players from a bunch of different teams. But like I said, I think if their football team goes out and plays the way that I think they're capable of, I think we'll load up the first, second, third team in the postseason. But you got to go prove it.
As I was going through these lists, it was just a reminder that this is what Jim Nagy and his staff were hired to fix.
Yep.
Because you are a preseason All SEC player if people think you're going to be an early round pick.
Yeah.
Like that's how you make first team All SEC. And OU just needs more of those elite, measurable type players. As good as R. Mason Thomas is, and I think he's going to be a really good NFL player, like he doesn't have the elite measurables you're looking for from an edge guy. He made All SEC, preseason All SEC, because we saw him do it a year ago. And everyone went, this guy from OU, 32 is legit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing defensively is you have to continue to bring guys in that have elite measurables and develop them and turn them into great players. And like that's if you get those guys with the elite measurables and attributes and develop them and make them into really good players, like that's when you're going to be loaded with preseason All SEC players. And of course, it's also connected to winning. OU has some players that have a good argument to be preseason All SEC on the All SEC team, but they're not on it because of the season they had a year ago.
No doubt. Yep.
It's just how it works. You got to win games and you got to continue to enhance the talent, the high end talent, especially on your roster.
Yep. That's it. And, kind of like getting picked 10th, maybe shouldn't be a big surprise, but it's bulletin board material, right?
For that defense, you kidding me?
No doubt. Yep.
I think a lot of people in that building think they're going to have the best defense in the SEC next season. Or it's a month from now, excuse me.
Well, I think they have the capabilities. And, I look at last year's defense and I think that like the main reason I think that this group has a chance to be better is strictly what they've got up front. They've got more depth. They've got more experience. at least for right now, it feels like they're healthy. If that group is going to be as good as a lot of people think they are, I think the rest definitely has a chance to follow.
They also have arguably the best defensive coordinator of the last 20 years in college football calling the
Definitely
defense.
helps. Definitely helps.
I I wanted to be mad with how few people there were on the preseason All SEC team for the Sooners, and I just couldn't. I tried to find anything. I was like, how can I express frustration? Kind of sat there, went through all the lists, and went, really? What am I going to say?
Right.
I
Yeah.
would say the number one, if you want to call it a snub, the number one's probably Burks, but you look back to what he did last season, couldn't stay on the field, and there's just the production wasn't there to justify me being angry. Like you could
Yeah.
say, hey, Kip Lewis is going to step in to that Stutzman role and have an amazing statistical season. But his production a year ago didn't warrant him being preseason All SEC. So
Yep.
maybe Robert Spears Jennings because he's got the measurables. He's a really good player, but a lot of really good DBs in the SEC.
There are. There are. But I do think that the reason I mentioned him is because I think safety is a spot that, you know, you can not easily make the list, but if our defense is what we hope they're going to be, I think you can get some representation at safety pretty easily.
My dark horse for postseason All SEC team, may his shoulder stay attached. I still believe in you, Gentry Williams. I still believe
Yeah.
in you. I just want to throw that out there. It's more of like a just throw the positive vibes that young man's way. If he could just stay healthy, man, he's a really good football player. Please.
Yep. No, and like that's going to help tie everything together. If we've it's been musical chairs at corner over the last, I don't it's been a while. We've constantly been rotating guys through there. Some of it injury, some of it is trying to find better play. But if we can get to where we're locked down at corner, that's going to take us to the next level.
One other OU football thing to hit, rather significant when talking about the future of the program. OU announced a 12-person search committee that will be in charge of finding Oklahoma's next athletic director. That group includes big game Bob Stoops and Sam Bradford. Look at Sammy B getting on the committee. But Ted, the real question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset are you that you didn't make the cut for the committee?
Uh, if 0 equals thrilled, that's where I'm at. I'm thrilled I didn't make the committee. I'm upset you didn't make it.
I
This is right up your alley.
they're like he can't be trusted.
You're a
This is
committee.
right up my alley though. I would have been honored to serve on the committee, but Bradford, if it was, hey, we need a former OU player, Bradford's the guy. He's the guy. He'll ask the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah. No,
He's a numbers guy. That's helpful in the conversation.
big brain guy. Yeah,
Big brain.
yeah.
Also, he can take them all onto the golf course and challenge them. Just see what they're made of. Put them in the blender there. See how they respond emotionally.
Can you be a good athletic director if you can't, go out and shoot 75? Just show up.
The people are wondering. No, but it's all kinds of different areas of the university represented on that search committee. So I here's where I'm at with it. A lot of smart people on that committee. Going to be absolutely fascinating to see how this process goes, and we'll see what type of person they end up landing on for the athletic director. I'm excited. Seems like a good committee.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know what to make of it. Um, I guess I don't know the process, and are they more of like a vetting committee? Do you feel like maybe Randall Stevenson or whoever's going to bring up some names and they kind of go through them and talk through them and kind of vet them individually? Or do you think the people on the committee are out turning over rocks, trying to find who they think would be the best?
I don't think Bob's out there turning
That's
over
kind of what I'm
rocks to
thinking.
trying to find the next AD. I don't think Sam's doing that either. But I think it'll be a situation where, because Randall Stevenson's kind of running the show for this whole thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, Joe Harris made that clear. I would assume that Randall Stevenson and Joe Castiglione and Joe Harris are going to get a pool of candidates they feel good about and then bring that to the committee, and they're going to talk through those, and then they'll set up interviews, and then there'll be another round of interviews. It's a process, man. I don't know if that's what it's going to be like. That's how I feel like it's going to go in my head.
Yeah. And it's a safe way to do things. You got safety in numbers. If you make what ends up to be a horrible hire, you could say, well, we had a whole committee of people that you can't point to one person and say it's your fault we made this hire.
It's all 12 of these people. Sherry Cole, why did you do this? No, it's it's foreign territory for Oklahoma, man.
Yeah.
Josie's been here for forever.
Yep.
Like, I don't remember OU without Josie being the athletic director.
And the game has changed so much between then and now that, and there's so much on the line that it really is a high stakes hire. You've got to make the right pick.
I think a great question, maybe the opening question when they get to the finalists, right? Let's say they get down to 3 finalists. I think the opening question should say, will you spend company money at a strip club? And if that person answers yes, then they're out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go see what's going on with the NFLPA leadership right now. I think that's a good opening question, breaks the ice a little bit, lets that person kind of address that situation, the absolute disaster that's going on in the NFLPA right now.
I haven't even seen any of that. I need to check it out.
Oh, buddy, the fact I cannot believe if I would have been a better player in the NFL, I always thought I'd be an awesome player rep and be very good in a significant role in the NFLPA. I was just never really good enough to kind of justify trying to weasel my way into that.
Right.
And the fact that they replace Smith with this Howe guy with what was on Howe's resume, the skeletons, the known skeletons in his closet, is crazy, bro. You got to go read it. There's like a bunch of deep dive articles about it. You got to go read it. But as long as OU doesn't do that with their next athletic director, then I know it's not the exact same type of job. Like, one, you're running an athletic department, you're running a union. It's unbelievable. You got to go read about it. As long as we don't do that, we'll be good.
I'm writing it down. As soon as we're done, I'm going to check that out.
I'm glad I didn't bring it up in winners and losers, because then you would have been like, what are you talking about?
Right. Well,
I'll send you the article.
Could have learned.
I was able to find something else. Don't you worry. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the search goes for OU's AD. I don't really know what the timeline is going to be. That's also very interesting to me. Like, is this something that moves quick, or is it, hey, we're taking the full year to be as thorough as possible? I don't know. If you find your person quickly, then I don't see any reason why you don't move quickly, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. You may not have the answer to this. I definitely don't. When typically do you see movement? Is it kind of after football season that you see athletic director movement?
I would say after football season or after all the spring sports conclude, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of those seems like the natural entry points for a new AD.
Which, I mean, it kind of leads me to believe that maybe it's a post football season type of deal. I guess what I'm saying is you may have a hard time getting athletic directors to step away during the fall, when there's so much going on. But I don't know.
We know nothing. That's why we're
We
not
know
on the
nothing.
committee, Ted,
That's right.
because we're
It's
we're dum
the
dums.
committee that picked the committee did a good job.
Do you think your name came up in the conversation?
No.
Are you sure? I think it
Why
might
would my name come up?
because people love you and you're opinionated and you're smart.
I
Despite how you sound, you're one of the more intelligent dudes I know. I'm being honest with you.
well, I appreciate that.
Don't
Thank
let the
you.
voice fool you, people. Ted's got a big brain. He knows more about random stuff than like any human being I know.
Well, I know nothing about athletic directors, so uh
Maybe that's what we needed.
yeah, perhaps. I think they'll do okay without me.
We got to get Bradford on here to talk about being on the committee.
That would be good.
Okay. Yeah,
See if he'll dish a little bit, see what's going on there.
I'm sure. Everyone knows Sam Bradford, open book. We just got to get him on here. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
Oklahoma's favorite pub, Pub W, is a modern American pub offering a great new take on classic drinks and cuisine. They offer an extensive beer and specialty drink selection with something for everyone, and that's exactly why Pub W was voted best happy hour. And we all love a delicious brunch. Pub W brunch is served Saturdays and Sundays until 2 p.m. with some of the most delicious brunch offerings you'll find anywhere. Now open in Yukon, Oklahoma. Visit one of their 6 Oklahoma locations. Visit pubdub.com for locations and menus.
Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I had to go with Matt Rhule. The way he handled the Scott Frost deal. Scott Frost went scorched earth at his opportunity at Media Day, talking about his time at Nebraska. And, I wondered how Rhule was going to treat it and, what might he say about the job. And it didn't go how I thought, but I thought he handled it really well. He, I did not expect him to say this was not a good job when we got here. you know, um, that was kind of surprising, but he had all the opportunity in the world to hammer Scott Frost for saying what he did and talk about how his time there's been totally different and all of that. But, he laid it out, talked about how difficult of a position Scott Frost was in, both, during his time there, after his time there. Said, hey, we just put up a huge picture of Scott Frost in our facility this offseason, and talked about a lot of the work that they've done since he's taken over and how, far behind they were in a bunch of different avenues. I don't know. I just thought he handled it really well, which you would expect from Rhule. I mean, he's really good at that type of stuff.
A close friend. We had this. I like to do like tabletop topics at big dinners, but just one question. And one time we did, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? And our friend Megan said, you'll never regret taking the high road. And that has stuck with me ever since that day. And I feel like Matt Rhule, he had he could have gone two different ways with this. He could have absolutely buried Scott Frost and said he was an idiot and that he disrespected that fan base and those players and that program. How could he do this? That's not what he did.
Right.
He went the other way with it. Like, hey man, I get it after my experience with the Carolina Panthers. He's right. We were behind in NIL and facilities and all these different things when I took this job over. It wasn't a good job. He It felt like he extended an olive branch to Scott Frost, and by doing that almost told the fan base like, hey guys, let's calm down about this whole thing. Like that's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not surprised because Matt Rhule is the man.
Yeah.
Like
I thought it was really well done. You could have taken all of the headlines in college football with some type of, big comeback about, how what it's looked like for him there, and it could have gone a bunch of different ways. And I should not have been surprised the way he handled it. And I thought, what you said, you're never regret taking the high road. That's well said. And I don't know. I think he came off as I don't know. I thought he just handled it brilliantly, honestly.
it it reminded me of how good of a people person Matt Rhule is. Do you remember when we'd watch him pregame
Oh my God.
before we'd play
Dang.
Baylor?
I watched him for an hour walk around the field and talk to like 500 different people. The security people, the ball boy, just everyone. It was impressive.
Me?
Yeah.
Come over and talk to me. And I was doing, I was interviewing him on Big 12 radio every once in a while, but he's just, he's a people person, man. And I just thought that was what he said at Big Ten Media Days, which is in Las Vegas. Cause okay, sure.
Yeah,
I,
that was good.
yeah, that was strange, but I thought it was a great representation of what I've seen him be as a coach and as a person, like with my own eyes. Now, I've never played for the guy, I haven't been in those walls, but everything he does publicly that I've seen, everything he says publicly just seems like a great dude that cares about the people around him. And I don't know what type of relationship him and Scott Frost have, but he took care of Scott Frost with what he said at Big Ten Media Days. He could have buried the guy. He could have said what Scott said was idiotic. He didn't do that.
Yeah. And then he said that, it was a complicated deal with Frost taking that job, and he knew it was the right job for him, right? I knew as soon as I met and talked with my wife that this was the right job for me. So yeah, just all around handled it perfectly.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
All the coaches and commissioners and everyone out there right now during media days that continue to come after the SEC about scheduling. I think it makes everyone look incredibly dumb. And I'm not some waving the flag chanting SEC guy, but they're not going to convince anyone that because they play 9 games or whatever little thing that they do in scheduling makes their conference more difficult than the SEC. They're convincing nobody. They've got all these statistics that they dug out, which you can find a statistic to back you up on anything if you look hard enough. And I don't know, Cignetti, Indiana's had one decent football season in my lifetime, and Indiana's on the attack on the SEC. I mean, you got people in the ACC doing the same thing. What are we doing?
I don't know. It's all related to what the next version of the college football playoff is going to be. I I get that. I get politicking. I get that these coaches have all met with the commissioner, like, and been given, hey, these are kind of our talking points on this. Hammer this home. It'll make headlines. But you know what the silliest thing to me is? The biggest stories coming out of ACC media days and Big Ten media days are them talking about the SEC.
That's right. Yeah.
As opposed to them talking about their own conference and their own teams and their season, their upcoming season. They've taken their platform and made it about the SEC. And I feel like Greg Sankey is just sitting at his office at home going, excellent. Keep talking about us. Because you go look at the big headlines coming out of these other media days, and it's them taking a shot at the SEC and a discussion about it. And it shouldn't be that way. You should use media days to talk about your league and put the focus on your league. Instead, everyone's talking about what Cignetti said about SEC scheduling and what Rhett Lashlee said, which that made no sense. I don't know what Rhett thought he was accomplishing. I think Rhett's a really good coach. I think he's doing a really good job at SMU, but he was like, there's only been 6 champions in the SEC since 1964. That's not depth. That's top heavy. It's like, dude, 6 seems like kind of a lot, actually. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's been weird, man. Everyone's talking about the SEC, and that's exactly what Greg Sankey and the SEC want.
Yeah, Cignetti saying that, we dropped the Virginia game because we figured we just adopt an SEC scheduling mindset. Listen, I like what he did in Indiana. There's a lot to like about him, but that is a dumbass comment.
Indiana, and I think I'm being nice. If you gave Indiana Florida's schedule 3-9,
yeah,
4-8, if you gave them
best.
OU schedule 3-9, 4-8, they got beat by the only good teams they played last year. Like, I think Curt Cignetti is a heck of a football coach. Making Indiana one of the talks of college football is one of the better accomplishments I've seen from a college football coach in recent memory. But, dude, no one is still Indiana. I mean, come on, man.
They're throwing out these like, oh, they play, whatever FCSTs. It's like, you're not convincing anyone. Like, on opening weekend, there's like 6 great SEC non-conference games. I mean, Notre Dame plays an SEC team in non-conference. Ohio State does. Michigan does. Miami, Florida State. I mean, you can go up and down the list of all of the great non-conference games out there. So it sounds incredibly stupid. And like I said in the beginning, they're not going to convince anyone. All they might do is have some people say, yeah, I bet he's probably right. I'm going to click on a SEC team and check out what their schedule looks like. And they're going to say, ooh, actually, let's try a different team. Now that one's doesn't work for my case. Oh yeah, well, no, that one doesn't work either. So it's just dumb. And you're right. Everyone just keeps talking about the SEC.
Curt Cignetti just had the best season in the history of Indiana football?
Yep.
Maybe talk about that.
Yep.
Maybe talk, and I'm sure he did, but and he likes to make a headline. Let's be real. Like, he's got some juice to him.
Yep.
But instead of people talking about how amazing that season was a year ago and how they're going to replace all the guys they lost, it's, oh, did you see him get the SEC with the scheduling comment? Like, nice.
Yep.
Like, congrats, I guess.
Pretty strange. I mean, Here's their schedule from last year. Indiana, Florida International, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska, Washington, Michigan State. I mean, they played Michigan and Ohio State late, and then they finished with Purdue. Like, that's a bunch of nobodies. It's crazy that that guy would get up there and talk about anyone else's schedule when he benefited from an incredibly easy schedule a year ago.
What he should have said, what the truth is, because this was about them calling off the series with Virginia, right? What he should have said is last year we found out we can play no one in the non-conference and win a bunch of games in the Big Ten and make the college football playoff. So we're going to continue to do that because last year we found out that formula works for the committee. That's what he should have said. That's the truth. Not we're trying to do it like the SEC teams do it. He knows that's not true. What is true is, hey, last year the schedule was really easy. We had a good team. We won a bunch of games and we made the playoff. And my bosses at Indiana really like that. So we're going to continue to do that. Like that's the truth. So now he said something funnier and more entertaining than that, but that's what it is. Hey, until the playoff format changes and the way that the committee selects team changes, like we're going to continue to do what we did in the 2024 season because I don't know if you know this, we made the college football playoff at Indiana.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just thought the whole thing is funny and I don't know. It borders on ridiculous. So I imagine there's going to be more of that to come throughout the rest of the rest of the media days there at the Big Ten, but I'll continue to laugh. That's about it.
It appears it is the Big Ten versus everyone when it comes to the future college football playoff format. I'm at the point where, hey, if we stick with 12, okay, cool. I'm good. Fine.
Especially if the tweaks we made, after last year, then yeah, it could work.
We'll see. Are you a 5 plus 11 or a 4-4-2-2-1 plus 3 guy? Where do you stand? People are asking the important questions. All right, let's get to my winner or loser. But first, 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, for my winner of the week, collectives.
Yes.
They're back, Ted.
Just like that.
Just like that. What, the College Sports Commission stuck to their guns for 12 days, 11 days?
If that, yeah. Sounds like pretty quickly there was even some backtracking.
So here's what happened. The CSC, the College Sports Commission, was feeling pressure from the House settlement lawyers, and they are backing off on rejecting deals between athletes and collectives, direct deals between those. So meaning they had come out and said an athlete can't do a deal directly with the collective. The collective has to find a third-party business and facilitate that relationship. And that's how that has to work. There has to be a valid business purpose. And the CSC said that collectives did not satisfy those terms. But they just came out and said, you know what, never mind. Because now an athlete can do a deal with a collective, and that can be, autograph signings, appearances, all these things that we've seen athletes do with collectives over the last several years. The only requirement it now has to meet when it goes through NIL Go is like it has to be in the proper compensation range. What the proper compensation range is, that is to be determined. What fair market value is for a star quarterback showing up to something and signing autographs is to be determined. But big win for the collectives this week, Ted. Collectives live. Yay.
Yeah.
Rejoice.
Which, a lot of this was assumed, there was all going to be challenged and probably challenged quickly. Attorneys, as you put it, real early, are going to be the big winners in all this. I mean, not to say that they don't have a legitimate case. I think perhaps they do, but so much for everyone kind of agreeing that this current situation needs to be reined in.
The guardrails, the revenue sharing guardrails, I think they didn't go away. They just widened.
Back to no guardrails. Well, yeah, maybe wide.
Collectives now become very important when it comes to exceeding the revenue sharing salary cap. Now, a lot of people thought that was going to be the case anyways, so I don't really know what has changed. I guess if they start rejecting a bunch of these deals that these athletes do directly with collectives, then I would assume there's more legal cases coming.
It's going to be challenged. That's going to be challenged right away anyways. I mean, because they have to pick like market value, but the market value is going to be decided in recruiting, isn't it? Like, if a collective is a legitimate deal and collective A will pay a guy $100,000, but collective B will pay $150,000 and collective C will pay $200,000, aren't they setting the market value?
Indeed, they are.
So, I mean, I don't know how you can even challenge any of it. Well, but again, this is all legalese that I don't know. And are they an actual business? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what they're ruling on now, but I mean, it has the feeling of, okay, we've fixed nothing.
That's definitely how it feels. It's like, oh, so it's the same system, but now the guys get the revenue share distribution.
We've just added a third party in there,
Yeah.
To siphon off some of the funds.
I do think when I saw this, I go, okay, how does it affect OU? And remember last week, OU and Learfield announced that Sooner Sports Properties is going to be the exclusive centralized NIL marketing partner for OU. And so that Sooner Sports Properties is Learfield's local team when it comes to managing the multimedia rights for OU. And they're going to work with One Oklahoma, the collective. That all is going to merge. And that means OU's NIL operations are going to be under this single entity backed by Learfield. Now, full disclosure, Sooner Sports Properties is who pays me and you for all the OU stuff that we do. So I'm excited to see what SSP can do because of all the relationships that they have established and how that can benefit the athletes as they partner with One Oklahoma and try to find, just talking about football, trying to find these guys some more deals and trying to, let's be real, exceed the revenue share cap to where OU is in more enticing place to come play. I mean, that's just, I feel like that's the collective's role, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And, getting the feeling talking to people as this was all coming down, like there was a lot of hope perhaps that the guardrails would work, but I don't think everyone, I never got the feeling that OU was, you know, just waiting to see. Like they've been gearing up, expecting something like this to occur. At least it feels that way to me.
Yeah, I think they knew the clearinghouse was paying extra attention to payments just coming directly from collectives.
Mhm.
And they decided, hey, if we just make this all one thing, I mean, what are they going to say? Oh, you went out and worked this deal and for this guy into one of your corporate partnerships? Like, that's not legitimate. Center Sports Property is going to go, what are you talking about?
Sooner Sports Properties is a legitimate business. There's no way that you can get around that.
Yeah. So, and I will say, John Mateer got some big time deals coming his way. Very exciting stuff
Nice.
over these next couple weeks. So you can do deals with One Oklahoma, and they've got, their own logo and all that type of stuff. So it's just going to be interesting to see what Bobby Nash, who has been hired to come in and enhance the whole operation there at One Oklahoma. It'll be interesting to see how creative they can get and what they can do for these football players to try to sweeten the deal, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like all of it merging into one thing will be an overall positive for these football players, because you've got these established relationships, and now people know, hey, if I want to, now you can still do deals with guys directly, like in their representation, but if you want to build it into an overall OU deal, like now you go to SSP and say, hey, let's work Mateer into this overall marketing package we're doing.
Right. Which makes a lot of sense.
It's probably important to note that SSP controls all of the OU marks. So if you want to use Mateer in an actual OU jersey, like you got to go through them. So,
yeah, I mean, I I hope that I hope it works out well and we can continue to compete. But like the thing that maybe worry isn't the right word to use. The thing that frustrates me is it's still currently a sport that's going to be driven by how much money can you raise, not like how good are your coaches at recruiting, how good are your coaches at developing. Like it becomes a money game, and it's hard to compete in that with some schools just where people are located. I mean, thank goodness that Oklahoma has had as much success they have in the past, and they've developed those good relationships with some of those big national clients that they can tap into. But I mean, there's some schools that are not going to have that ability, and it's got to come from like donors and stuff. And that's really hard. Yeah, you could do it for 1 or 2 years, but how are you going to come up with $30 million in extra NIL money for the next, 20 years? That's hard to do.
honestly, this system favors the Big Ten. Massive alumni bases for a lot of those schools.
Mm-hmm.
When you just got more people, you got more money. A lot of those campuses are not too far from like massive cities.
Yep.
This is it benefits the Big Ten and it strains a lot of the SEC schools
Yep.
because of the size of the alumni base and just the size of the towns some of these SEC schools are in.
If you aren't the flagship of your state, you got problems.
Oh yeah.
Like Auburn's in a small town and Alabama's the flagship there. I mean, it's going to be very hard for them to, because you're competing for the same dollars in a lot of avenues, and it's just going to be difficult.
Everyone is now looking for ways to exceed the revenue sharing cap. And OU having their marketing arm and corporate sponsorship arm as part of this overall strategy for One Oklahoma. Now, it just feels like a good way to do it. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
I mean, it does feel like it is. They're trying to build what is a sustainable model
Yeah.
instead of just going out and beating down donors.
Here's to hoping that it helps the Oklahoma Sooners build a really, really good roster. Come on, guys. You can do it. My loser of the week. Apparently, $200 million can't buy you much, Ted. Memphis.
I can't wait to hear what you say about this because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Big
Memphis
12 has
offered.
tried to add almost anyone that is willing to come to the conference, and then someone comes with $200 million, and they're like, "No, thanks."
And they've said no thanks to Memphis a couple times now. So Brett Yormark, it can't be the oh guys, it's us, it's not you. No. It's definitely you, Memphis. They offer the Big 12 somewhere in the $200 million range to let them join the league. And they didn't even like have a formal vote on it. That's how little the Big 12 thinks of Memphis. That's gotta hurt, Ted.
I I was I was shocked by it. What, $200 million? They'll take no TV revenue for at least the time period,
For 5 years.
5 years.
So here, I've got the breakdown here. Most
Okay.
of the money was going to be from sponsorships. I think somewhere in like the $150 million range. They said they wouldn't take media rights money for 5 years. And I guess they were even willing to build into the contract that if the other schools in the Big 12 determined Memphis was not adding value to the league, they could vote them out in 5 years.
Get out of here. What am I missing?
I think Brett Yormark hates the city of Memphis. That's my, I don't know, man. Because, and Memphis's head coach, Ron Silverfield, really good football coach. We were in Detroit together. Love that guy. Awesome guy. Has had a ton of success now they're at Memphis. They've put a bunch
Big
of players
coaches
in
that
the
have
league.
won
Like they
there.
got a good team, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You tell me, but like, why is Memphis? Why does the Big 12 not want Memphis at all?
I have no clue. I guess the only thing I could think of was if they're willing to throw all of this at us, if we say no, maybe they'll sweeten the pot. I, I have no idea.
Did
The, the
you?
the Big 12 is like they're trying everything they can to create revenue. Well, someone's trying to hand you $200 million for 5 years. Take the 200, let them play for 5 years, and kick them out.
Yeah.
I
What
don't know what I'm missing.
did you see? Ross Dellinger reported that Memphis's president has spent like the last 12 to 14 months lobbying the leaders in the Big 12 to try to build momentum for this, like before they sent their formal request for entry.
Jeez.
Talk about a waste of a year, man. Didn't even go to a vote.
Maybe he sucks at lobbying.
He's got to.
He
Got to be
needs to
bad.
hire a good sales guy.
I I would love the this is ridiculous that Memphis waited until after Big 12 Media Days to do this. You have to do it before and create pressure for Brett Yormark to address it and explain why publicly.
Yeah.
Hey, why are you not taking a free $200 million? I would have loved to hear why.
What are the chances that Yormark wanted it, and whenever like the university presidents were just a hard no? Is there any chance of that? I mean, the guy's trying everything.
They did the deal with PayPal, right? For the I think like the revenue share
Talking
distribution
about playing
payments.
games in Mexico and all this stuff just to try and get more revenue. Well, someone's handing you more revenue. Take it.
Do you think it has to do with the fact that Memphis is good?
It shouldn't.
I Their last two seasons, 10-3, 11-2.
They should love that.
Or is it like, hey, we got enough problems in this league. We don't need another really good football team because that means we'll lose more games. I don't know. Are people still in that line of thinking? I don't know.
I don't know, but I have a feeling there's going to be another conference that's going to say, "Hey, about that $200 million."
I I respect the ambition of Memphis. They we still don't know what the final form of college football is going to look like, but it's clear Memphis wants to be in it. And
Pac-12, here we come.
I respect the attempt.
Yeah, they can. It's clear that Memphis can see the writing on the wall that it feels inevitable. Maybe it's not 5 years, maybe it's not 10 years, but it feels inevitable that the Power Four is leaving the rest behind. And if it costs us $200 million now to have a future for the next 50 years, we better do it.
And they said, no, thanks. That has to hurt. We'll give you $200 million to let us in. We won't take any TV revenue money, and you can kick us out if it ends up not being a good partnership. We're good.
I can't wait to hear the reasoning. I haven't seen anything that gives the Big 12 side at all as to why they said no. I'm fascinated. I was floored that they said no.
Memphis will stay in the American, which is no longer the American Athletic Conference, by the way. They got rid of that. It's no longer the AAC. It's the American Conference or the American, Ted. And I need you to put some respect on the conference mascot's name, Soar the Eagle.
How would it make you feel as a conference or a conference commissioner if one of your institutions is willing to pay $200 million to get out?
I'd be very sad, especially if I just rolled out an awesome mascot like Soar the Eagle. I did. I won't lie. I read way too much about Soar the Eagle. The conference motto. Do you know what the conference motto is now? Built to rise. Rise stands for revenue, innovation, sports, and entertainment. Yeah. The American, built to rise, all represented by Soar the Eagle, who is a jacked eagle, by the way. They did a good job making him, that's a muscled up eagle.
Well fed.
Oh, yeah. A lot of protein for Soar.
The American needs to start snuggling up to Memphis.
No kidding.
Hey, you've been hiding these sponsors for a while. Maybe it's
So,
time we rise.
Soar the Eagle needs to be wearing a giant FedEx logo on his chest. I
Uh-huh.
I don't hate the conference mascot, by the way. I don't like it, but I don't hate it.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah, it was
As
like,
long as you don't
oh,
hate it.
everything else has a mascot. Why not? It's very innovative. This is the big stuff they're doing in the American, man. Memphis should be happy they're staying.
I don't know, man. I was in disbelief whenever I read that report.
As was I. But hey, I'm interested. I want to hear your Mark's reasoning or Big 12 president's reasoning or the athletic directors, whoever. We need answers. They've got to have a good reason. I don't know. Birthday shout outs.
Cincinnati, Memphis, it's I don't know. Wild.
Birthday shout outs. Happy 64th birthday to Kelly Harjo.
And happy birthday to Dusty Bohannon.
On that note, episode 548 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com. We hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.